Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run7. How you doing? Today I am going over some rosters, but before we get into that, I want to talk to you about something that happened last week. So showing on the screen right here is a team I talked about, got pretty excited about, and I mentioned that Silver Surfer and Silver Surfer alone is going to be getting energy from Deathpool. That is absolutely incorrect. David Alexander pointed this out to me in the comments, let me know that she only works that way in raids. Still a great character, still a great team. I think people should be building this team. It's kind of the hot sauce, but she's not passing out energy in war, so don't worry about that. If you guys catch me making any mistakes, please leave them in the comments. Let me know if there's better builds or if, whatever I'm doing wrong. Let me know down there, because I know that the people who watch these videos are highly competitive and they need the best and most accurate information. I want to be providing that to you guys. So there's that. Also, I did mention something about slow on the Riot Guard's basic, and that is inaccurate. I was thinking about Shield Guard, not Riot Guard. Riot Guard has a very vanilla basic. So there are those connections. Now, we grade on 5 different criteria: who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. And we're going to take a look at Penga of the X Academy's defense roster here. He's got some interesting stuff in this lineup, and I gotta warn you, there's some stuff in here that I am absolutely not prepared for today. I didn't even get a chance to go over it with chat, but I do know the AIM team, and I can tell you how to do this a little bit better, because there are some basic tweaks we can do to this. One, let's get the stars on all of these characters. They're fairly simple farms to do all of these. They should not be your primary focus, but we can get this done. We can get up the power level just by farming them and not putting in any of our resources other than your extra energy that's left over after your usual farms. Number 2, I think you should probably change the placement. I think all 3 minions should be in the middle. These guys and girls are doing some adjacent stuff. Just put them in the middle. Doesn't really matter where so much. We've got like a heal mechanic, a speed up mechanic, a different kind of speed up mechanic. But Graviton and Scientist Supreme are not doing anything adjacent. They're kind of primary targets. You want them on the outsides. Don't bother putting any more into your ISOs. They are good enough. I kind of run this guy as a skirmisher, I think, most of the time, but Striker's fine. You've got 1 Raider, 1 Striker. That's going to even out pretty well. And then you went healer with these 3. They all have synergy with the healing ISO. This is a small team. It's not worth building up. It's not worth investing a lot of resources in. In fact, you should consider, if you want to continue using this team, eventually you will have to bring them up to ISO level 4. This might be a team that you just replace in the future with something better, so you're not wasting the ISOs on them. Although they opened up the doors on those green ISOs, it's not such a big deal anymore. Okay, team number 2. Oh, I was going to give this like a C+. Team number 2, the Asgardians. We had a little glitch the first time we tried to do this. I had to go back and fetch this one. Here we go. We're running Captain America in here instead of Hela. That's an interesting choice. She has the Avenger tag, which is going to help Thor kind of get his charges going. She has 0 synergy with that Loki opener, so you're missing out on that. But the problem is that when you have Hela in here in the first place, people feed off of the Gregs with like the Axemen or the Symbiotes or even X Factor. It's just one more person to crit off of. And it gets the turn meter going too fast. So you got to get Hela out of there, or you got to do something like put a pre-taunting tank in there so that they can't just attack Drax right off the bat. But even then, they can get him with splash damage. It's an RNG kind of trick to do there. My biggest recommendation is take this team apart. Use Hela on offense with the Supernatural team, not Deathpool. I still think Hela is the best choice there. Deathpool is fun and all, but you're just relying on her power. She doesn't spread the effects as well as Hela does. Thor has great synergy on the Wave 1 Avengers, and then you can put Captain Marvel on the Avengers Wave 1 also if you want, in place of like Black Widow. There's lots of stuff going on there. Also, I see people use Heimdall and Sif as replacements on that Wave 1 for different things, depending on what your builds are. So there's lots of pieces in here that can be used in other offenses and defenses, and this defense is just not as effective with Hela, and Hela is a liability. Like just the other day, I have a sub 700 symbiotes, and I found a 890 Asgardian team and just rolled over them just so easy because it was a full 5 Asgardian team. If you are going to be using the full 5 Asgardian team, and that actually might be a thing in smaller alliances where they don't have access to a full symbiote team, where they don't have access to Jubilee, stuff like that. So like if you are under 300k, if you are down in the gold war rankings rather than like plat 1 or plat 2, if you're in plat 1 or plat 2, do not run this team. Everybody's got symbiotes there. But if you're down in gold or even lower, Asgardians might be a choice for you. Especially like this 300 power level, I'm thinking Asgardians might actually still be a viable choice for you. Just pay attention to who's attacking into them and what they're using. And if you see them folding under the Axemen or the symbiotes, it's time to break them up. If you're running the full team and Hela's in here, you're going to have Hela as a striker, Skirmisher on Loki, that's good. Everybody's putting Striker on Thor. I know they're just trying to increase his damage output, but he has chain attacks and splash damage and AoEs and all sorts of stuff. He really works well with the Raider, but the Striker does give him that flat damage boost, and it's okay. That's fine. Healer on Heimdall, go Raider. He's adjacent and splash all over the place. Same thing with Sif. She's not going fast enough to pop enough of these rejuves. And you know what? In the next video, I'm going to talk about Healer ISO and Fortifier ISO being dead ISOs these days. And what's wrong with them. So I really would like to see people start moving away from the Healer and the Fortifier ISOs as best they can. I mean, we're not using Fortifier here, obviously, but get away from that Fortifier ISO especially, and try not to use the Healer unless there are characters who really, really benefit from that passive heal mechanic. Captain Marvel does benefit from that. She's healing on almost every turn, I think. I think every turn. Gosh, she's so old, I can't remember how her kit works anymore. So... okay, yeah, so you know what? I think maybe throw Hela, depending on what rank you're working in war, maybe throw Hela back in here. Try for that full 5 team and look at what people are attacking into it, and then make a decision if you want to break up the team entirely or if you want to continue using them for a little bit longer. You will reach a point when people can unlock those symbiotes, when people can unlock Jubilee and the Axemen, when people have the full X-Factor team and they're just annihilating this stuff. And there's others too. X-Force just destroys this team. So yeah, just pay attention to what's being attacked by it. All right, I think this is like a C- team. It's nothing special. I like that you got rid of Hela. You're thinking about that. It's probably not going to work for you. I think you should probably just break up this team. If you're getting rid of Hela anyway, just break up the team. So C- for this. Okay, we got a Guardians team. This is another trash team that's really old. It's power crept to hell. You're not getting a lot of value out of it. If you're going to use this team, though, you might consider Drax taking him out of here and using somebody else. Maybe like you could use like Heimdall and Sif in here. So you have a tank and you're working against those blinds that some people can come in and use. I think Brotherhood comes in with blinds and does pretty well against this team. I don't remember. But yeah, you might consider getting rid of these two. And then you go Striker on Star-Lord, Striker on Raccoon, and Skirmisher on Groot. And if I don't want to get into the details here, it's kind of an old thing, but the way their kit works, they're calling on Groot like all the time. And so it sets up that triple hit combo off of these three, like every single time, if it's just those three. That's why you kind of want to get rid of Drax, because he has that Guardian tag, and he'll get called some of the time instead of Groot. And you don't want that happening. So you might get rid of these two, put in something else. This is a trash team you don't want to invest in. Otherwise, if you're not going to go for that combo and you want to go for a more full Guardians team, this is pretty good. You've got Raider here, that's good. You've got Raider here, that's good. Lots of splash damage, AoEs, that's fine. Groot, I mean, I know Groot technically has the word healing in his kit, but he's not a healer. He's just not. He's just not a healer. He does, but he doesn't. Don't worry about it. Don't use healer on him. Use Skirmisher or Striker for the damage. I think Skirmisher's just the best way to go no matter what on him. Nobody needs Fortifier. No, hardly any tanks really need Fortifier. Your Drax doesn't need Fortifier. I mean, he is a little small on the points, you know, but so's your Star-Lord, and that's going to be one of your primary targets. So, I don't know. This is kind of a tough call. I mean, really, this is just a junk team you want to get rid of. Ghost is Ghost. People are using her for DD4 and other Dark Dimensions. She's kind of falling off. Like, if you haven't built Ghost yet, you might not want to. She's the only part of that Pimtech team that's any good, though, and there's places where you need Pimtech. It's kind of a catch-22 situation. People are going to be asking for a rework on her pretty soon, I think, because a lot of people invested heavily into her, and now she is no longer top 5 choice for, like, anything. and my headphones just turned off and I can't hear any music. That's annoying. Hold on a second here. This is the problem. This is why content creators do not use wireless headphones, because you get issues like this all the time. Okay. We just heard that song. Let's skip it. All right. So, what to do with this team? I mean, you've invested in them a little. You want to get some value out of them. I understand. But gosh, yeah, I say get rid of Drax at least. Put somebody else in here. Maybe just a plug and play character that has some potential, like a threat that's high power, but maybe you're not using anywhere. Like just anything. Just don't invest. Just don't invest in this team. Don't bother changing these ISOs. It's not worth it. There's enough synergy going on here that's okay. You might consider changing this ISO. I just hate the healer on Groot. He doesn't get any value out of it. He's so slow. He only does one move that has any kind of healing in it, and it's not much at all. Okay, Striker on her is correct. I think this is a D team. I really don't like it. Your placement's fine, but it's just a D for me. I just don't like the team, I guess. All right. Oops, skipped one. Team number 4 is the Mercs. I love the Mercs. I think they're fantastic. I don't know why you have Falcon on here. He's going to be a kind of a hot target. His power levels, well, his power levels in the ballpark, I guess, but you got power levels all over the place. I like that you got Skirmisher on Taskmaster. Points there. And you got Striker on Killmonger. That's really good. A lot of people do him as Raider because he does have synergy in his kit with Raider, but on this team, you want him Striker, you want Taskmaster Skirmisher, and you want everybody else being a Striker also. Now, I think you should replace him on this build with Shuri, change him to a Striker, change him to a Striker, and then Shuri will be your healer. Without Shuri, then you keep him as a healer, but you change this guy to a Striker no matter what. See, the thing is with Striker on Riot Guard, you are potentially doubling or even more than doubling his damage output because he's going to attack twice, you know? I know he only attacks like every other move or less than every other move depending on the energy output, but I still like him for Striker. Let's see, Falcon. See, the problem with Falcon on a defense team is that he doesn't operate the way you want him to. His ultimate goes off first, and you want his special to go off first because you need that turn meter to get this team going. They're going to kill him before that happens, especially at this power level. If you had like a overpowered Falcon compared to the red, like if you had an 85, 90k Falcon in here, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, he's going to survive till turn 2 and give this team the kick in the pants they need to get going if they've taken on damage in the beginning. Your power levels are so wonky right here. One of these people is going to go under 50% if X-Force comes in here, which means Taskmaster is going to get ability blocked, which means the team's going to fold, so don't worry about it. And your power level is not high enough to avoid the X-Force. Once you get over 400, 450k, X-Force stops scaling with this team and can't keep up with them, and people start switching over to the Skeletor team as a counter. Now there's also the Zemo teams. Zemo teams destroy this no matter what, at whatever level. There's nothing you can really do about those Zemo teams. I'll try and work on a defensive buffer for that, but it's kind of challenging. We're trying to keep this team alive because it was such a good team, but it's hard. It's pretty hard. So I think for you at this power level, I think you get Shuri in here. I think you change both of these two ISOs. Your placement is good enough. Yeah. Just swap out Shuri right here. I think that'll do it. Okay, as is. Again, we're kind of meh. We're kind of meh today. I'm thinking C+. Problem is this, the power levels on these guys. You got to power these guys up a little bit. Get the stars on everybody, right? You got a lot of farming to do. I think you're a newer player. Got a lot of farming to do, touching up these guys. That'll help a lot. Keeping them all at an equal power level helps because then you kind of know no one individual is going to fall below 50% if the X-Force comes in there, and that's everything. Okay, team number 5. We've got an S6 team. I like that you've got Rhino adjacent to Doc Ock. I think you should swap out Mysterio for Swarm. God, all these guys have complicated names that I get mixed up. You know, Electro, Shocker, Swarm, Scream, all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah, swap out Mysterio with Swarm. Get Shocker. No, not Shocker. Get, who else do we want in here? I guess that's the team. Yeah, I guess that's the team. Technically, you know what? Let's get rid of Vulture. Let's get rid of Vulture for Swarm instead. You might put Fortifier on Mysterio so the symbiotes can't knock him down low and the Axemen can't kill him easily and get the turn meter off of his mirror image copies. And then I like setting this team up now. Actually, I kind of like setting this team up so that Rhino is the one who gets called in as the summons for Doc Ock. I like that when Rhino comes in there because he's tanky. And again, the symbiotes and the Axemen can't really use him. X Factor, of course, just destroys this team no matter what. And that's why the best thing for you to do is field the OG S6 without Doc Ock, and then take Doc Ock and put him on a different team, whether it be offense or a hybrid defense. But then you just have this team that people have to go in and kill, and you don't have to worry about your investment level or anything. It's just something to fill a slot. But then Doc Ock, the only good character on this entire team, is going to be part of a hybrid defense, which is going to soak up something really good or even cause them to blunder and you get a defensive victory. So, yeah, otherwise, let's take a look at the team as is. You've got Raider over here. Yeah, okay. She could also be a striker. You've got Striker on him. Yeah, I kind of like Striker on him. He's got something going on in his basic. I don't remember what, but there's something there and it's pretty good. You should probably go Raider on Vulture because he's doing AoEs and adjacents a lot. And then Rhino over here. Yeah, healer works. And then healer on Doc Ock. Okay. Yeah, those are good enough ISOs. You don't need to change it. There's a case for Skirmisher on him, but I'd like Raider better. As is, again, this is another meh team. I think you should just go OG Sinister 6 and put Doc Ock someplace else. I'm going to give you a C for this. Number 6, Emmarauders. You got Blob in there. This is a good place. I like this. People are putting Blob on this team, and it works. Because then he's getting the deflects over here, which helps stop that Psy Strike from Elektra. And so the Disrupt doesn't stick on him as easy. It's a good move. It's a good move. Plus, it just makes him tougher to get through. Just, you don't need Emma to be that much tougher. Although, yeah, no, that's right. I like what you're doing here too, because then she's getting the deflects also, which helps to stop that ability block. Well, that ability block's going to land almost no matter what. But the other defense down bonuses are not going to stick as well to her. So that's cool. I like that. I like that you're doing that. This is a good build for this team. Mystique isn't doing too much for this team anymore, and your Strife is way, 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 way too weak. If I went into this team with the appropriately sized Shadowlands team, I don't think I'm not sure if I'd even throw the ability block on Emma because Blob's giving her those deflects. I think I would just go hard after Strife and kill him, and then turn my attention to Emma, or even Blob first, because I think Blob's gonna get that taunt, right? So yeah, I think I would go after Strife, not putting the Disrupt on him. Allow him to taunt. That way, if he goes below whatever that trigger threshold is for Blob, he's still got a taunt above his head, and I can continue to attack him until he's dead. Then go after Blob, and I would just chew my way through this defense just with brute force. So I think that's your liability right there. I like that you have Fortifier on this tank. He is one of the few tanks that I do recommend Fortifier on because he uses that barrier mechanic very, very well. And yeah, so that's a good one. Emma's got the right stuff. There you go. That's good too. I think you should have Skirmisher on her. And I think on Blob should be a Raider. Go Raider on Blob. He's too slow to use the heal mechanic. It's not worth it. So go Raider on Blob. And Skirmisher on Mystique. Otherwise, I like your placement. I like the rest of the ISOs. Your power levels are wonky. You've got to get some power into Strife. But keep in mind that this team is on the verge of being broken up completely. So again, this is one where you got to look at where you're at with your alliance and what you're doing and who's attacking into you and decide, is it worth it to build up this character who is Not very useful in most game modes, although I did really like him in DD4. I brought in this bottom row right here into DD4. It was very, very effective in DD4. He's a cheap character to build, and he has synergy with Sinister that is... So it's a good thing. But yeah, I'm actually gonna give you a B+ for this team. I like that you've got Blob in here. This is a good functioning team, but just change those 2 ISOs and you're gonna get the A. Heroes for Hire with a big fat Shang-Chi. Unfortunately, the rest of your characters are pretty squishy. I mean, Colleen Wing's not, but... So I'm guessing you're building these 2 up for DD4, probably? For the heroes, right? To go with maybe 3 symbiotes or something, whatever you've got in your roster. Or 2 symbiotes, maybe? I don't know. But if you're gonna build these 2 up, you might as well take up Misty Knight. I do like Luke Cage as a fortifier. People are putting healer on him, and that's not good. He's too slow to use it, and they just die and revive, or they have somebody else healing them, or they just have somebody else healing them, or they just have their charge mechanic healing them, and they don't need the rejuves. The rejuves are wasted, so yes, use fortifier on him. Again, check out the next video because we will be talking about why fortifier is actually a dead ISO, but there's nothing better to put on him. Skirmisher, striker, healer, raider. Yeah, let's change our placement. Somebody pointed out to me, I'm sorry I don't remember who, but somebody pointed out to me that Colleen Wing should be going adjacent to Luke Cage because she will catch splash damage and do a counter attack because of that. Not 100% on that. I just read that just before stream started, so don't quote me on that one, but let's take a look at that, how that works. Check out her kit, see if she is going to be countering attack from splash damage. That might be a better placement, is swapping those 2. Yeah, your power levels are wonky. We need wonky power levels, adjust the ISOs. This is a B version of this team. Maybe even a B- because these guys are so underpowered. But at the same time, I know why you're investing in it this way, so you're not wasting resources. I'll give you the B+ for this, actually. You're not wasting any resources. This is just filling a slot. But if you want to make this team better, and this team does scale well, beef these 3 up. Team number 8. I didn't skip any more, did I? Okay, good. Whew. Team number 8. Now, here's an enigma to me. I am not super familiar with the Secret Avengers, I will be honest. I didn't get enough time to do my research on this one, so I don't know the turn order for these characters. I don't know how their opening moves are going to play out in war done by the AI. I have attacked into them a couple of times, but honestly, I've usually just been doing super huge punch downs because I get nervous and I need the kill, not the practice. So we're going to look over this. Now, I know that Sam Cap does go before Sharon Carter, and so people are putting Skirmisher and then getting the striker bonus off of her, and that seems to be very effective. I hear a lot of good things about that. You can reverse this. Their kits are built in ways that does support the reverse of that. Healer on her, whatever. She's kind of slow, actually. She's kind of slow. I like her better as a Skirmisher. I think you're just going to get a little bit more value out of that Skirmisher tag. Plus, you've got 1 Skirmisher and 2 strikers. So I think, yeah, you should definitely change her to a Skirmisher. Healer on Shuri. I think you're over-investing in your Shuri, by the way. You shouldn't be taking her into the blue. She's just not that good. A better choice would have been putting the blue ISO over here. Of course, it's different ISOs, but, you know... the ions that you're going to be spending would be better spent here at Sharon Carter. And Doom is a striker, that works. Pretty soon you'll have the Big Daddy Doom, and then you'll be doing really good. Placement. Okay, I guess. Sure. Why not? Let's see. There might be some adjacent stuff in Sam's kit. I can't remember. No, I'm seeing a lot of people put them on the outside. I would bet that there's not adjacent stuff. Chat, let me know if there's adjacent things going on in Sam Cap's kit. Throw that up there for me so I can find out. Yeah, I think this is okay. I think this is okay. You've got Sue in here because she's got synergy with Doom, giving him a little bit more power or something like that. But nobody's doing that anymore. It's just not good enough. Whatever whatever that synergy is, nobody seems to care at the high ends, so be prepared to drop that idea. Shuri. I'm not sure if Shuri's even needed in this team. She might actually be debilitating you because you want Doom to drop below 50% to get that added turn meter. It's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't underestimate this team. I'd see Doom. I'd see some Secret Avengers in here. I'd see that it's got a high defensive rating with Invisible Woman and Shuri. You know, you're getting defense up. You're getting lots of deflects from Sam. Yeah, energy out from Shuri, but you know what? The chances that Shuri gives Doom the energy to pop off early, I know that's a trick, but that's a pretty minuscule RNG trick. It might work. It might. It's certainly not worth investing in Shuri to try off. Okay. Chat's telling me nothing about Sam's kit other than X Factor destroys this team, and yes, that's what I would use to go into it. I would use my equivalent power X Factor team and probably roll right over this. So I think there's a better hybrid for Doom. But it is a big number, and you're gonna get a lot of people that probably punch down into this with like a bigger Black Order or something like that, just to make sure. So it could soak up some stuff. It's not terrible. I just think that there's a lot of better options. I think just scrap the whole team and let's talk about some of those other Doom options. I've got some videos in it, or maybe we'll come across some ideas. You know, Doom Brotherhood is still just a solid one. I mean, there's counters for it, but people complain about those counters. So we got some options. You could always throw him on Emmarauders or something like that too. But again, X Factor's actually kind of pretty good team, isn't it? Okay, so this is Penga's Defense Up review. If you like what you saw, give it a like. Give me a subscribe, thumbs up, or whatever the cool kids are doing these days. And let me know if there's some better ideas for this. I promise I will get on the Secret Avengers. I was supposed to do that before stream started, or before stream got going onto this. I didn't. I'm sorry. I will know this team better by next week, if not for the next video. Yeah. So remember, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too. Bye.